From intense fights to long-standing beefs in the UFC, Alex Pereira versus Israel Adesanya has gotta take the cake. But it looks like Alex just took it a step further. He gave Adesanya a warning like no other. So hang tight, because hearing this is scary. He's ready to kill. When it comes to MMA, your ultimate goal is to incapacitate your opponent, but would you go as far as brutally harming them to the point of no return? Well, I don't know about you, but Pereira is seriously giving some heavy vibes right now. As we all know, the two rivals are set to face each other at UFC 287 on April 8th. I know what you're thinking. Isn't that super far away? My answer is the same as yours. Yes, it is. The Brazilian knockout ace is pretty ahead of the game. The proof's in his warning. He posted an old pic of the two of them on his Instagram. It wasn't a cute buddy-buddy photo, I'll tell you that. It was a throwback pic of the duo at UFC 281 last November. To top that sweet picture off, he captioned it by saying he's ready to kill. To be honest, he kinda did have an awesome run the last time they fought. Don't remember? Well, let me jog your memory. He won the UFC 281. The Sao Paulo striking phenom that is Alex Pereira. He slayed everyone that day. It was just his fourth fight in the UFC, but he bagged the middleweight champion that night. More importantly, he crushed his arch nemesis. Who? Adesanya, of course. First of all, that fifth round knockout was crazy. You can't ignore that. Just when it seemed like he was staring down the barrel of defeat, boom! He gave his rival a left hook that sent him staggering. Then came the succession of punches, and Israel was done for. The winner was clear-cut, and boy, was he super happy about it. He said that he felt very blessed, but also apologized for the amount of trash talk he did before the fight. Apparently, it got him in the zone, ready to fight. Okay, sure, the win was amazing, but let me lay down the facts for you. The first big shot of the night was Israel's, and it was his very well-timed right hand that caught Alex totally off guard. What I mean to say is that both fighters are impeccably skilled, but you know what they say, there can only be one winner. The last stylebender knows who that is. I think you already know his answer, but wait till you hear this. Israel Adesanya needs to accept defeat. Pereira's words, not mine. In a conversation with Super Ludus, he dished some thoughts on his rival and some advice for him. Just for context, the man has defeated Israel 3 times so far, once at 281 of course, the others in kickboxing. To frame his argument very clearly, he told them about a previous experience he had that opened his eyes during kickboxing. Apparently, Powhatan revealed that he lost to the same guy 3 times and just gave up after that. Not because he was demotivated, just because he knew it was futile. The reason? He said their fighting styles didn't match up. He kept his mysterious foe anonymous, but he also said he'd lose to the same man again if they were to face each other again.
Down at one point, end of the round, but then I took him down in the 3rd round, and I drained his enthusiasm. But I'll give him one thing, he knows how to recover. And it's kind of like the same story as the last kickboxing fight we had. You know, I'm up, I'm having him, I'm staying focused, and then he just catches me. But this time, I felt like I was there. I was really there. And
so where does Israel come into the picture? Patience, my friend. The champion went on to say that the Nigerian Kiwi just needs to accept defeat the same way he did. Now that we know some of Alex's thoughts, what about the other side? Israel has been pretty flippant towards him too, not gonna lie. It's head-to-head on both ends. In fact, he said something almost as bold as Alex did. Hint, hint, it went viral just before UFC 281 last year. The fighter has never watched any of Pereira's fights. This guy's the definition of being too cool to care, right? He made that clear with his comments. Talking to Sporting News Australia, he revealed he's never seen any of his rivals' fights, and nobody else cares enough about him. That's not it though. He went on to say that at the end of the day, no one knows who Pereira is. Hypothetically, when Adesanya's world champ, Alex is gonna be that guy in the pub bragging about having fought him once. Well, that's one way to make your rivalry clear, Israel. Sometimes you have doubts about whether two people hate each other. This isn't one of those times. Here, it's crystal clear. In response, Palatine told ESPN he never forgot a single word he said. Actually, he had a pretty short response. He just said, "I'm like the stone in his shoe. Next level beef, am I right?"
That power is different.
Level change? Just bring it to the left hook.
Boom.
That's nasty.
I mean, that is the same hook he knocked out Adesanya with.
It's also very intense. For example, did you know that Pereira watched his fight with Adesanya almost 50 times? Yeah, make of that what you will. The difference between these two is just staggering. At this point, I honestly don't know how anyone can be a fan of both. They sure make that very hard. Alex even said something along the lines of an irreparable relationship. Looks like a truce is not in the cards. Pereira thinks Israel won't settle the beef. In a conversation with TMZ Sports, the middleweight champion was asked about his bad blood with his old kickboxing pal. When I say pal, I'm kidding. They're oceans apart. Anyway, to that, he said that he doesn't think Izzy wants to be friends at all. They can't ever come to a point where they see each other at a pub over a beer. Nope, that's just wishful thinking. What's interesting is, he didn't exactly say what he thought of Izzy, just that he thinks that the guy wouldn't be open to patching things up. This was taken just after his big November win. And back then, he said he'd be stoked to fight again for a fourth time. Looks like dreams are coming true. And he's ready to shed some blood. Again, he said he was ready to kill. I didn't. It's pretty obvious that the man's aiming for the sky. Before that huge TKO, he knocked out almost everybody. I'm talking about his wins over Andreas Michailidis and Bruno Silva. That's right, folks. His roster was pretty impressive before, too. He was a middleweight and light heavyweight champion under Glory Kickboxing, but he also stopped Michailidis from getting any further than a debut in the octagon. This wasn't the end of his streak. In fact, he was chalk in the middle of it. He then landed a decision win over Bruno Silva. So yes, like I said, both fighters are impeccable. Let's look at Israel for a bit. You gotta show both sides, right? He's called the last stylebender for a reason, you know? His love for anime and awesome style. You've probably noticed all his anime tattoos. That's half of where his nickname comes from, actually. Taking inspo from Avatar: The Last Airbender, he's dubbed the Last Stylebender. He gave himself the nickname too. But about the style, he's known for being wacky, surprising his opponent at every turn. What sets him apart has gotta be the way he mirrors his jabs and shots. It completely catches his opponents off guard. A prime example is when he did the same to Alex at UFC 281. He lost, but still, impeccable technique, that's for sure. That's all about Alex Pereira's warning to Israel Adesanya. Who do you think will win at UFC 287? See you next time.